Shalom, 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 Israel. Right, first and foremost, want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Umarak Yabushah. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, which the world calls God, and Yahushua is the name of His only begotten Son, who the world only calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, want to give a strong shalom to all the mighty men that's going out there laboring. They're presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, doing all they can to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and during the elements, the 100-degree weathers, the freezing below codes, and everything that's trying to come against the word of the Most High. Shalom, shalom. I want to give another strong shalom to the mighty Aquath, right? The sisters that are at home, but they're reverencing their husbands, right? Being teachers of good things, tender, and unmarried sisters being tender, delicate, and on fire for the Most High God. Shalom, shalom. Last but not least, I want to give another strong shalom to the mighty children and teenagers that's in this truth, right? That's doing all they can to make their calling and election sure in the last days. Right? This brother Tazamah coming back at you with another cold cut through the spirit. And the topic of this cold cut is, are you an average Israelite in this truth? All right? Are you an average Israelite in this truth, or are you above average? Are you an average Israelite in this truth, or are you above average? Right? And through the spirit, the Most High had me go, into this topic through the spirit, because of certain things, that I witnessed over the past weekend. All right? And it's imperative that we go against this, because you don't want to be, and it's a sad that we gotta go into this, because all Israelites that's in this truth, they should be above average in serving the Most High God. All right, they should be above average, on fire, serving all Israelites, no matter who you are, what congregation you're in. All Israelites should be serving the Most High with all their heart, soul, and mind. That's a commandment. That's in Deuteronomy, the 6th chapter. Nevertheless, you have average Israelites in this thing, man. Right? Israelites that, do the bare minimum. Israelites that still, going off. Right? You got brothers, breaking the Sabbath day on the Shabbat, saying, "Oh yeah, well, you can't. I'm doing this for somebody." Well, hold on. Where's that at in the scriptures? Then you try to tell the brother, "Hey, brother, it's not the Sabbath day. You really shouldn't be doing that." Well, hey, I'm your elder. You can't tell me. You can't rebuke me. That's off. Only average Israelites do that. You got Israelites not really serving the Most High like that, treating this truth like it's a side job. Or you got average Israelite women still operating in the spirit of the world. Right? So we gotta go over these things so we could cause more Israelites to be above average and serving Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Umarak Yabushah. Right? And this gonna be all, I don't have no precepts written down, just getting off so-called plantation. So this all gonna be through the spirit. Nevertheless, let's kick it off with the book of 2 Timothy. All right, let's kick it off with the book of 2 Timothy. Right, let's kick it off with the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2, and verse number 5. Right, 2 Timothy 2 and 5. It says, "And if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully." So it says, and if a man also strive for masteries, right? If you in this truth, the Israelite, you should be striving for the masteries, man. You should be trying to serve the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, to the best of your ability, right? Every single day, on fire, as much as you can, them fainting. That's what you call striving for the mastery, striving for greatness. You got Israelites in this truth. They don't want to strive for greatness, man. Oh yeah, I'm just, I'm just content with my 2 prayers a day. Where's that at in the scriptures? Oh yeah, I'm just content, with still going into the so-called workplace, still doing my everyday life, right? Treating this truth like it's a side job, right? Only as average Israelites, do that. And it shouldn't be a such thing as an average Israelite, but it is. We're about to list everything that the average Israelite does. The average, hey, we see them all the time. Walk by count. Yeah, I know I'm an Israelite, but don't keep no commandments. That's an average Israelite. Sisters that walk by count. Yeah, I know I'm an Israelite, but don't keep no commandments. Not walking in the laws of the Most High. That's what you call an average Israelite. Then you have average Israelites among this truth that just do the bare minimum. Still lukewarm, right? Slothful. They like the rest of the Israelites. Slothful, lukewarm, indulging in lust still trying to get at Eve in this world. Then you got the Israelite women, right? They still being only average Israelite women, they still being disrespectful to their husbands, right? Not taking care of their households, not fully changing into that Proverbs 31 woman, Titus chapter 2 woman. Average Israelites, they break their fast. They're not amping up their prayer. They do the bare minimum of prayers. That's what average Israelites do. Just like you got people in the sports world. You got the average regular basketball player. Then you have your Kobe Bryants, your Michael Jordans. What separated Michael Jordan from the average basketball player was his work ethic, the work that he put in. He was in a gym all day, watching film all day, eating right, making sure he gets a proper sleep. In the gym more than other. Then you got the regular Israelite. He just show up to game day. He show up to practice a little bit, then follow you around. I'm going to read that again, 2 Timothy 2 and 5. It says, and if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully. So you want to be the Israelite to strive for the masteries. The Israelite, I have to be great in everything I do. That's Ecclesiastes. Let's go to that in Ecclesiastes chapter 9. Right? The Lord said, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. That's in the truth. If you're reading, you have to read with your might. Make sure you comprehending what you're reading. Everything makes sense. Well, you might have to go over it again. If you're praying, you don't want to be half-a praying. And your mind and your spirit is always going to let you know when you could do more or where you're just doing the bare minimum. Again, average Israelites, they break the Sabbath day with no fear behind it. They still, average Israelites, still let their parents or the people around them affect what they do. These are what you call the average Israelite that you see. You might see them just walking around. You might see them at your job. They might say shalom. The average Israelite is sad to say it, but they bugged out. Believing in different doctrines. You want to strive for the masteries. You want to serve the Most High as much as you can in all things. Let's read Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse number 10. The average Israelite, he's not taking care of his household. Arguing with his woman, with his wife. Still doing worldly things. Not teaching his family. Right? Again, we see them all the time. Then you have the above average Israelites, which we're going to get into. Nevertheless, this Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse number 10. Right, it's Ecclesiastes 9 and 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, Do it with thy might. So whatever you're doing in its truth, you have to do it with your might. Meaning you have to do it to the max. You have to max out. Max out. Hey, the average Israelite might be throwing up, what, maybe 2 prayers a day when they wake up, when they go to sleep over their food. Guess what? When you're doing it with thy might, you're going to throw up as many prayers as you can that day. Whether that's might be 15, 16, right? 10, 9. Even with a fast. The average Israelite, being honest, really only fast on a Day of Atonement. You know, if we could do if we was able to do a ratio, nevertheless, the average Israelite maybe fast on the Day of Atonement or once out the month, maybe twice out the month. Average Israelite is letting their daily life activities affect their walk in this truth. And it all goes back to simply, keeping the commandments of the Lord. It says, I'm going to read that again. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest. So, because when it's all said and done, you're going to be asked that, you're going to have that question in your head. Did I do enough while I was on this earth? Did I live up? Did I strive for the masteries? Or was I like everybody else? Did anything separate me, right, for all the other Israelites? Hey, the average Israelite this Sunday, he's finna indulge in a damn Super Bowl. You got people they talking about the Super Bowl talk right now. Hey, the average Israelite, he's finna be indulging in that. Average Israelites finna be indulging in the festivities of this world, so-called Valentine's Day. Oh, let me see what I want. Hey, the average Israelite is letting their woman stop them from being on fire, man. Going off. So you have to ask yourself, are you an average Israelite? Do you do the bare minimum? Do you do what's just getting you by? You just making it by. Right? You just making it by. That's it. You don't want to make it by, man. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 6. You want to go above and beyond through the Spirit. Right? This Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse number 4. It says, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. So you got to love the Lord with all thy heart. The average Israelite, his heart is not wholly fixated on the Lord. For example, when you look at Caleb, and Joshua during the time of the wilderness, they wasn't like the average Israelite. What was the average Israelite doing during that time? Worshiping other gods. The majority of them was murmuring against the Most High. I want to go back into Egypt. The average Israelite was doing their own thing. Oh, I'm hungry. Did the Most High bring us out here just to die? The average Israelite during the time of Joshua and Caleb, guess what? They didn't have faith. It's the same thing. The average Israelite now don't have faith, man. So they put their faith and their trust in everything else, whether that's their money, their lust. But guess what? Joshua and Caleb wasn't the average Israelite. Because they just did what? They just did what the Lord told them to do. And that's them serving the Lord with all their heart. They wholly followed the Lord, man. They didn't serve the Most High. They didn't treat this truth like it was just the interest. They were obsessed with this thing. This was their life. And you have to live this, you have to treat this truth like this. This literally is your life. So if you don't want to be great in life, then shame on you. What type of spirit are you in? This truth is your life. You have to walk every single day like this is your life. You don't want to have that spirit of, well, I barely have me time. What about the things I like to do? Guess what? All of that, when you came into the truth, all of that stuff is up, man. Right? And on through the spirit, I was looking at this, picture of Michael Jordan. And I was thinking about it. And I was analyzing, I said, Michael Jordan in that picture, he wouldn't be that if he was average. If he didn't go beyond the standards. Not for man. A lot of people, they like to go above standards for man. Okay, I want to do this for man. So I could be esteemed and known in Israel or be somebody. Hey, we're not doing this. Man is too evil, man. Man is over righteous. Man is wicked. Man is just off. We want to, we want to do this for the Lord. Because at the end of the day, our lives get what? We all get judged according to our works. At the end of the day, the Most High is going to analyze and examine our whole life. Right? So I'm going to read that again. Deuteronomy 6:5. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Right? The average Israelite isn't loving the Lord with all their soul. They're doing it halfway. They doing it to, they not going over that hump, that push. And you will feel through the spirit, I have been acting average lately. You're gonna feel that. It's not gonna you don't have to take a deep meditation on it. You're gonna know through your works. Right? Above average Israelite is always gonna be in his word. Why? Because this is his history. This is who he is. That's what he was always destined to be. And he can't escape it. It says, and with all thy might, meaning, with all your strength. Again, the average Israelite is, they're not pushing this truth with all their might. They pushing other things. Chiefly sin. Like we said, we see them all the time at camp. Hey, brother, they might ride past. Hey, they say, hey, Shabbat Shalom. Then we say, hold on, Shabbat Shalom. Hey, brother, come back. What you doing? We got to keep the commandments, right? Yeah, I don't got enough time right now, but hey, Shabbat Shalom. That's what the average Israelite do. Right? Hey, Kwam Yashab. Hey, brother, how do you know that? No fringes on. No beard on their face. Hey, the brother this weekend that bought on the Sabbath day. Hey, guess what? If he didn't say, Shalom, we would have thought he was just like a regular person in this world. Right? We would have said, you know what, this brother, we wouldn't have had to ask him, hey, brother, what's your nationality? Because we would have just know, okay, yeah, this brother, he's an Israelite through the spirit. He would have had his fringes on, his beard on. Probably would have been out there for the right reasons, for the word. But guess what? If the brother didn't say Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, hey, we would have just thought he was a regular guy in the world. So the brother said Shabbat Shalom. Then he said, hey, brother, you don't got 1 minute for the word? He said, no, I gotta go. I gotta do something. So then time goes on. We bringing out the precepts. The brother comes back around with bags in his hand. And the brother, that was teaching, he said, well, hold on, brother. It's the Sabbath day. You're an Israelite. What are you doing? And he said, yeah, this is for my daughter. She just had surgery. The brother bought Chinese food for his daughter that just got out of surgery, which is off. And that was probably a lie. Right? He said, yeah, she got to get it while it's hot. Say, oh, but it's the Sabbath day. What are you doing? But he said, hey, I'm your elder. And we said, that's off. Nevertheless, you know, those are tendencies that the average Israelite does. Willfully break the commandments. Or you might know in your spirit you're supposed to keep the commandments, right? But you just break the law anyway. You just do regular things. You're not on fire. You're lukewarm. Let's go to the book of Revelation. Hey, the average Israelite sits on a couch and scoffs on a keyboard. Yeah, if I was out there, I would have brought out that precept. Well, guess what? You're not actually out here. Right? Or guess what? Hey, if I was out there in the cold, I would have did this. Or if I would have did that. Right? Like we said, the average Israelite woman, she still being loudmouth, still not submissive, bucking up against her husband. Hey, through the spirit, it's over 1 billion Israelites. Literally, maybe more. It is more than 1 billion. Nevertheless, out of all the biblical figures, which is probably like 100, it's only 100, probably biblical figures that was on fire compared to all the billions of Israelites in history. All the billions of Israelites is only one Esther. Out of all the billions of Israelites, it's only one Apostle Paul. Hey, out of all the billions of Israelites, it's only one Judah. You know the difference between them is because one is average and one was above average. Right, let's go to the book of Revelation. Hey, out of all the billions of Israelites, there's only one Enoch. There's only one Abraham. To 1 billion. That's deep. All right, let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 3. Right, it's the book of Revelation, chapter 3, and verse 15. Hey, the average Israelite is still smoking weed right now, man. The average Israelite is still smoking a cigarette. Doing drugs. Falling victim to the demons. The same ones. Right, this Revelation chapter 3 and verse number 15. It says, I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou were cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm, meaning you're not cold or hot, you're in between. Basically, what the Lord is saying is, you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. All right? Brothers should know, what this is talking about. That's how we was, when we first came in. We wasn't always on fire. We was lukewarm when we first came into this thing. But it's a difference when you're in this thing for years, couple more months. Some feast, you've been around some feast day, you know what's going on. You don't want to be lukewarm because the average Israelite just looking around, and we're not just making up this stuff, right? This is through experience of what, we've witnessed, what we've seen in Israel, what we've seen amongst our people that know they Israel, the accounts that we hear that's going on in the nation. The average Israelite, just being honest, is lukewarm. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Average Israelite is not increasing. Stands the same or decreasing. And that's on all levels. That's not necessarily just with wisdom. You can increase on many different levels. Experience, patience, faith. It doesn't always have to be wisdom. But the average Israelite is lukewarm. It says, and neither cold nor hot. I will spew thee out of my mouth. See that? So if you're average, we here to tell you that the Lord is going to spew you out of his mouth, man. Because look what the average Israelite is doing. It's not like the average Israelite is just keeping all of the commandments blameless. All right, then, we could say maybe that's a different story. But the average Israelite is in madness and wickedness. Shaving their beards off. Right? Sun gazing. It's a lot. All right? It's a lot of madness. Nevertheless, you don't want to be an average. You should not want to be nothing average. They tell you that in the world. Right? Anything you do, you want to supersede. You want to excel in that. Whether you play the instrument, sports, singing, art, anything that you want to, put your hand to, you want to always excel in that. Because you doing a bare minimum, that's going to get you bare minimum results. You being an average Israelite, that's going to give you average Israelite results. You would never be like Yahushua. Yahushua wasn't an average Israelite. A lot of brothers, I want to be like Yahushua. It's impossible for you to be like the Lord if you're doing average things. The Lord didn't do it. When he walked the earth, he wasn't an average man. Anything the Lord did, he did it to the T. Paul, he wasn't an average Israelite. You got brothers, so yeah, I want to be like Abraham. Right? I want to be like Joseph. Right? King Josiah. Kwam Yashab. Right? I want to be like this, that. Sisters, oh yeah, I want to be a Proverbs 31 woman. Judith, Esther, right? Sarah, want to be like Rachel. Well, guess what? You would never get there not doing average things, because all those people I just mentioned, they never did the average. They never did the bare minimum. There was always striving for greatness and perfection. It's what the Lord said in Matthew the 5th chapter. Let's go to that. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5. Right? Let's go to the book of Matthew chapter 5. Right? It's the book of Matthew chapter 5 and verse number 48. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. So the Lord, Yahushua said, be perfect. And although, we could be perfect through the Spirit, but, unfortunately, due to us being in this fleshly bodies, right, we can't be without blame. Like, we're going to go off. We're programmed to. Nevertheless, you having a mind of perfection, that's what's going to separate you. All right? That's what's going to separate you from the average Israelite, because the average Israelite is not striving for perfection in all things, whether that's their alms life, giving it to the homeless, the poor. They're going to give the bare minimum. Right? And that's in life in general. You're going to have a person that's just going to do the bare minimum. Then you're going to have the people that's going to be great. Right now, you have somebody in the world, they're giving alms bare minimum. They're just lazy on their alms. Then you got the woman in Mark 12. Hey, she cast everything that she had into it. She really lived this. So guess what? The average Israelite is not striving for perfection. The average Israelite in his mind is, I can never be perfect. I would never be this, that. They're going to keep doing average things, and they're going to keep doing average thought. They're going to keep having average thoughts, getting average results. Salakia. Right? So guess what? What you should be doing, the next question arises, what's going to separate me from the average Israelite? You have to ask yourself that. What's going to separate, whatever your name is, what's going to separate you from the average Israelite. And that thing is that's going to separate you is your works that you put in. That's what's going to separate you. For again, what separated Floyd Mayweather from the rest of the boxers? The hard work that he put in. What separated Michael Jordan from the rest of the basketball players? The work that he put in. What separated Serena Williams from the rest of the tennis players? The work that she put in. What separated George Washington Carver from the rest of the men that was in agriculture? The work that he put in. And what's going to separate you from the rest of the Israelites is the works that you put in toward the Most High God. That's what's going to separate you. That's what's going to cause you, the Lord, to esteem you to be great. Let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 5. Hey, the average Israelite lets things slide. Watch their brother go. Man, there's so many accounts. Hey, average Israelites, they let their brothers just go off in front of them. And don't say anything. Don't correct them. Right? Don't push them to be better. Just let them go off in front of them. Yeah, that's my art. That's not, where's that at? Hey, average Israelites don't really apply the Bible as they supposed to, or as they say they do, as the real Israelites do. Right, let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 5. Right, it's the book of Genesis, chapter 5, and verse number 22. It says, and Enoch walked with God after Methuselah 300 years, and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. So guess what? Enoch wasn't like everybody. He was different. Why? Because he walked with the Lord. What does it mean by he walked with the Lord? He was walking in the ways of the Most High God, to the point where the Lord had to take him off the earth. That's deep. For you to get taken off the earth. All because what? Because you please. All because you please. Right? Hebrews chapter 11. Right? It's the book of Hebrews chapter 11. And Slock here. I want verse number 5. Right? It's Hebrews chapter 11 and 5. It reads, by faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because he had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony. So before Enoch got translated into the third heaven, off the earth, men was looking for him. When you read Wisdom of Solomon, the 4th chapter, they knew that he was going, but they didn't know how that he was going. He had a testimony. What was his testimony? That he pleased God. See that? That he pleased God. That's what separated Enoch from the rest of them during this time. That's what's going to separate you from the rest of the Israelites. The average Israelite isn't pleasing the Lord. We're just going to be honest. He's not. Right? The average Israelite, Salakia, Satan messing with the live. All right? Satan messing with the live stream. Are you guys able to still hear me? Is the live still going? Okay, Khan. See that? Satan messing with the live. All right. We going into this thing. We bringing out the word. Right? It's getting, hey, that's how you know this the truth, man. Right? The truth would never, they never want the truth to get out. Or when the truth does come out, it gets bad. Nevertheless, the average Israelite isn't pleasing the Lord. But guess what? Enoch, he pleased God. He was one of the few men to please the Most High. Hey, the Lord said that to Yahushua in Matthew the 3rd chapter. Right? This is my beloved son. This is my son who I am well. This is my beloved son who I am well pleased. It says what? Verse 6. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So guess what? Enoch, he was above average. He did things that the rest of the Israelites wouldn't do. And you want to strive to be above average through the Spirit. Whether that's praying more. You want to amp up your prayers. You always want to do more. Right? Fasting more. Making sure you're always in the Spirit. Making sure you're always surrounded by righteousness. Make sure you're surrounded by righteous people. Making sure you have integrity behind closed doors. That's another thing. You want to make sure you're doing what's right even when no one's watching. You want to make sure that you're increasing. Right, let's go to the book of Judah, chapter 16. Right, let's go to the book of Judah, chapter 16. Right, it's the book of Judah, chapter 16, and verse number 23. Right, it's Judah 16 and 23, and it reads, it says, but she increased more and more in honor, and waxed old in her husband's house, being 105 years old, and made her maid free. So she died in Bethulia, and they buried her in the cave of her husband Manasseh. So Judah, she increased more and more. The average Israelite woman is not increasing right now. Stagnant, staying the same, not improving her relationship with the Most High. And it's true, it's the little things that matter. The little small areas. That's what's gonna cause you to be above average and serving the Most High. Let me get that quick precept. That's why the Lord said, he that contemneth small things shall fall little and little. Right? This is Sirach chapter 19 and verse 1. A laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich, and he that contemneth small things shall fall little and little. So if you contemn small things, you're gonna fall little and little and little and little and little and little, to the point where you're not gonna be able to function. To the point where, guess what? You're gonna be average, because it's the little things that's gonna cause you to be above average. What are those little things? The simple things. Keeping the commandments. Right? Loving your brother as you love yourself. Having integrity. Praying. Fasting. Studying. Making sure you give diligence to make your calling and election sure. Those are the small things that's going to cause you to be above average, because the average Israelite is not even doing those things. You have to do things that other people are not doing. Having more patience. There's a lot of pride in Israel. It's not a lot of people are humble. You got to make sure you operating in the spirit of humility. Right? It's a scoffer in the chat. So, don't pay attention. Right? Don't pay attention to the scoffer. It's a scoffer in the chat. Most I willing, he's not gonna make it. All right. Nevertheless, those small things is what's gonna cause you to be above average. And you gotta want this thing for yourself. You gotta pull it deep down. You gotta dig deep inside you. You gotta pull this thing out. You gotta stir up the spirit of the Lord that's inside you. If you're in this truth, you have the spirit of the Lord. If you're able to confess the name of the Most High, and you gotta pull it out of you. And not do the bare minimum. Right, let's go to Sirach chapter 43. Right, one of my favorite precepts. Right, this Sirach chapter 43 and verse number 30. Right, this is the book of Sirach chapter 43 and verse number 30. I'm gonna start at verse 30. It says, when you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as you can, for even yet will he far exceed. And when you exalt him, put forth all your strength, and be not weary, for you can never go far enough. So when you in this truth, you want to treat this truth like this is your life. Everything you do matters. Exalt him as much as you can. Make sure you're putting forth all your strength. Make sure you're not cheating yourself. Because when you do the bare minimum, when you do the average, you're playing yourself. You're deceiving yourself. Let me go to James. That's why the Lord said in James, right? Be doers of the word and not hearers only. Deceiving yourself. You could put on an act for so long in front of man. You don't want to deceive yourself. Let's go to the book of James. Chapter 1 and verse number 22. Right? James chapter 1 and 22. It says, but be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourself, deceiving your own selves. When you do the bare minimum, you deceiving your own self. You playing yourself. You cheating yourself. You're robbing yourself as an Israelite for the destiny that you was to be in serving the Most High God. You don't want to deceive your own self. That's all you're doing. You're not deceiving man. You dang sure not. Well, you can deceive man for so long, right? Till you meet a brother that's truly in the spirit. You can't deceive the Most High. Only person you deceiving is yourself. You robbing yourself. You cheating yourself. You quenching the spirit. That's another thing. Don't quench the average Israelites. They quench the spirit. Right? Let's get that real quick in 1 Thessalonians. This 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse number 19. It says, quench not the spirit. You don't want to quench the spirit, man. Anytime you quench in the spirit, you're not letting that fire consume upon the altar. You're not letting that fire burn. Only average Israelites quench the spirit. At the end of the day, again, it's sad that we have to go over this, topic, because all Israelites, in sincerity and truth, should be serving the Most High as much as they can. Nevertheless, we got to go over these things so we can separate the greats from the not greats. And you're gonna have average Israelites in the kingdom. And the kingdom of heaven is going to be Israelites that's just going to be regular. That's going to be regular. Then you're going to have the Israelites in the kingdom, certain men, they're going to be rulers over 10 cities. Right? They're going to be ruler over 10 cities. That's written. Let's get that in Luke. And you're going to have the least in the kingdom. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 19. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 19, and verse number, see what I want. Luke 19 and verse number 17. And he said unto him, well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, have thou authority over 10 cities. So it's going to be Israel in the kingdom. They're going to have 10 cities. And you got the 144,000. Whoever they are on this earth, they're out there. They're not average. That's just plain and simple. At 144,000, they above average. And they're going to be doing above average things unto the Lord. Then you're going to have the least in the kingdom. You're going to have 10 cities. Then you're going to have the least in the kingdom. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5. All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 5 and verse number 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. I'm going to read that again. That's a mean one. It says, whosoever shall therefore break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. So you're going to have the least, the average, bare minimum, regulars, ordinaries, right? As Jake say in the world, right? The randeezes, the randoms. It says the squares. It says, but whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So you're going to have the average, then you're going to have the greats. The greats that strive for greatness, that was destined for greatness, and they lived up to that greatness. You should want to strive to be great in this truth. You should want to strive to be great unto the Most High God. To do all you can while you're on this earth. We don't want to be average, man. Right? I don't want to be average, man. You shouldn't want to be average. You should want to be called great in the kingdom. But in order to get there, you got to do great things, great works while you're on the earth. Let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16. Right? Right? Right, like the brother Don Israel said, you don't want to be the brother that has one authority over one slave. There's going to be slaves in the kingdom. You just got one servant. That's it. Then brother you looking next to you that put in that work on this, and he got over 100. Let's go to Luke. It's like you're not Luke. Let's go to 2nd Esdras 16. All right, let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16. All right, it's the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, and verse number 73. Right, 2nd Esdras 16 and 73. It says, then they shall be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. So when it's all said and done through the Spirit, it's going to be made known who is the average and who is the greats as time goes on. It's going to be made manifest who's the chosen, who is really above average and excel, or who is below average. Who is that below average? Because we are students in this truth. Who is that above average student and who is that below average? And it's all by the work that you put in. If you're average, you're going to put in average results. If you want to be average, you're going to put in average results. Right? If you're above average, you're going to put in above average results. You're going to put in great results. Right? The choice is yours. But with that, we're giving all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Umanak Yahushua. Lord willing, this video was edifying. Continue to read, pray, fast, study. Most importantly, beseech the Heavenly Father for His mercy in these last days. With that, I'm going to say Shalom.